freezer's full here, bud. Where'd he go?
This is Eastmans. We have been hunting and filming out west for over 70 years. Thanks for coming along on a few of our adventures.
This is Eastmans Hunting TV. It's big game hunting, and it's as real as it gets. Eastmans Hunting TV is brought to you by Sig Sauer, Cryptic, Savage, Eberly Stock, Hornady, Forever Barnwood, Eastmans Hunting Journal, and these fine sponsors.
Hey folks, I'm Ike Eastman, your host on Eastmans Hunting TV. Thank you for joining us this week. This week, we're gonna go along with one of my friends, Derek Wolfe. Now, you may recognize him from the NFL, from the Super Bowl, or from the cover of our Eastman's Bow Hunting magazine with a giant cat. However, I sat down with Derek, did a podcast with him, and got his entire life story. We go along today on a whitetail hunt in Montana with him. It is a super fun hunt. We see tons and tons of whitetail, and he kills one heck of a buck. So let's go along with Derek in Montana as we sit down and talk his life story on a podcast, as well as chase these huge whitetail on the Missouri River. See that whitetail? Yeah, it's right.
So it's our first sit in Montana. We're up here chasing whitetails. And on the ride over here, our guide showed us some really good pictures. He showed us some bucks that he wanted to, target, and some that he wanted to let live. Try to push them. They're like 3.5, 4-year-old bucks that are gonna be really good in a year or two. So it's the rut right now, so who knows what's in here. So anything could happen. I'm pretty excited. We've already got deer moving around. We just got a little buck over here. Wish us luck. I feel pretty good about it. We've seen a lot of deer. Another doe.
Hey folks, I'm Ike Eastman. The big show is on in the whitetail world. The rut is in full swing. Let's see if Super Bowl champion Derek Wolfe can snag another trophy in Montana.
I can get the freezer's full here, bud. deer this morning. We had one borderline shooter buck, and the other one needs about a year or two. Ton of does, a lot of chasing going on out here. So, midday, what we're gonna do is walk around and try to rattle something up, get them to show themselves. I think that'll be really fun. And then if that doesn't work, then this evening we got a pretty good chance of killing a buck. So pretty optimistic about it because we got a ton of deer everywhere. I mean, it's loaded with deer here. So, and the opportunities they're there. Just gotta find the right one. A little snug.
Welcome back. When the rut is in the final 2 minutes of the game, anything can happen.
We're gonna go around this dirt mountain right here and get you up by that wooden brace post. Okay. We can't go over it, it'll be too loud. We'll be on this back side of it. Okay. I'll stay back here. Just a little buck, small buck. While he's pricking with him, I'd move around there.
Appreciate you coming on. Derek Wolfe, the man, the legend. The legend lion hunter.
Yeah, it's wild. It's so crazy to me that people know me for killing a lion now. It's like,
well, I think they know you from a lot more than that.
Yeah, but people,
the hunting world,
people will see me out in public and be like, "You're the guy that killed that lion, right?" Not like, "Oh, you're the Super Bowl champion," or you played for the Broncos for 8 years. I've been on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I've done all this and done that, and been on the covers for different sports magazines and stuff. But to be on the cover of Eastmans, like I couldn't believe it, man. I was like shocked.
I know you said that. I thought there's no way that's true.
It's so true, man.
Sports Illustrated.
I know, but it's like I expected that. You know what I mean? Like I expected for that to happen. It wasn't like, I expected to be in those kind of situations where I'd make big plays and big games, and that's what happens.
Right.
But to be on the cover of Eastman's, growing up a bow hunter, and that was like every bow hunter has an Eastman's magazine in their sitting in their coffee table at their house. Every little farm where I'm from, up in Youngstown, south of Youngstown, Ohio, so northeast Ohio. Everybody that hunts, man, Eastman's Hunting Journal is sitting right there on their coffee table. So I always thought, man, it'd be cool to just you just see these giant bucks, giant elk, and that's like where my love for hunting started, was there. So, to make it come full circle is just so incredible to me. I'm not out here just trying to make the cover of things, right? Like I genuinely love to hunt. It's something that I have a huge passion for. It's something that, drives my wife crazy because I'm gone a lot doing it, and she's just really holds it down for me. So when I was really young, my stepdad would go on little random hunts here and there, and he'd hand me a 410 and stick me under a tree, and
don't shoot
don't
yourself.
move. Well, he'd say don't move, you know, and if a deer comes by, shoot it, you know. So I'm like, all right. And I'll never forget the first time that a deer, like the first time that we went to like one of his buddy's farms, and it's known for having like a lot of deer. But when we pulled up there was like 10, 15 trucks. We got there kind of early, saw nobody walked over there. He sticks me under a pine tree, and I was like, I think I was 12 years old. Okay. And so it was my first time like getting to hunt. I had hunted pheasants and turkey and stuff like that, and with my friends and stuff, but never killed a deer yet. So he sticks me under a tree, and being that I was still big, and then nobody had boots that fit me.
So you've always been big.
Yeah, I've always been big. Yeah, I was always, but I grew up in Ohio. You didn't realize how big you were because there's a lot of big boys in Ohio, you know. Mm-hmm. So he sticks me under a tree, and I had these steel-toed boots on that were his like work boots, and it was freezing cold. I mean, freezing cold. It was snowing. There was like 3 inches of snow on the ground. It was like perfect deer hunting weather, you know. Yeah,
but not perfect for steel
toes. And I'm sitting there with that little iron-sighted 410 under a pine tree, shivering so hard, like so cold. But I didn't want to move because
he told
me don't move, and I know what happens when I don't listen. So,
right, yeah.
So I didn't move, and I just sat there. And this little 8-point comes in, and I'm like, oh wow, there's a buck. And every blade of grass was in the way.
Because you're sitting on the grass or ground, so the grass is all eye level.
But I was like, it still, like, I could see his body fine. It was just like, oh, there's a blade of grass. I don't want to. Oh, there's not. Oh, there's. Oh. So, and then this doe there's a doe in there, and she kind of like is acting weird, and then I hear, and I'm like, oh, what is that? And this huge buck comes in, like, to me, you know. He was probably like 140, 150 inch deer.
Gosh.
Yeah. Huge 10-point. I mean, he dwarfed this 8-point. It was a nice 8-point. Dwarfed him. He comes in, and I was like, oh yeah. And I'm like, I'm gonna shoot him. And I was like, I got buck fever.
Really?
I mean, I started shivering and shaking, and I was like
hyperventilating.
Like I didn't know what to do. He was only like 10 yards from me. Like he was right in front of me. Like couldn't have been put in a better spot to kill a deer. He ended up chasing that buck off, and then the doe ran off, and then like 30 seconds later I hear boom. I'm like, oh man, somebody shot him. And then I'm sitting there like, why didn't I shoot that deer? And it was like, I was so enamored by like the way they were acting that I just was watching them. You know, you're watching these hunting shows, and you see that kind of stuff on camera that you're like, man, that'd be so cool. And I thought they were gonna fight. I didn't realize that, like, yeah, this little 8-point is not gonna, you know, he's like 120, 130 inch 8-point. He's not gonna fight this giant 10.
He's gonna run off.
He runs off, and I hear boom, and I'm like, oh man. So I sit there for like another 2 hours, freezing. And like at that point, I didn't care if I saw another deer. I was like doing everything I could to try to stay warm, you know. I was just sitting like in a ball. He finally comes down and gets me. He goes, you see anything? I was like, yeah, I saw a couple deer. And he's like, well, why didn't you shoot one? And I was like, oh, I didn't have a shot. And he was like,
oh geez,
well, where were they? And I was like, they were like right there. He's like, what do you mean you didn't have a shot? It's like 10 yards. And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, he just like shook his head and was like, all right, let's go. Yeah, he's just disappointed, you know. He's like, all right, well, let's go. So we're walking out, and strung up in a tree right there is that 8-point.
Somebody else, not your stepdad.
Not my stepdad, but somebody else shot that 8-point. Oh. And I was like, man, there's another big one out there, you know. And I don't know if anybody ever shot that deer, but to me, that's like it was like the biggest deer I ever seen, you know. And it was ever since that moment, like anytime like a buck that got me fired up came by, I didn't waste any time, you know. And then
we saw that today.
Right. Like that buck got me as soon as I saw him in my binos. I was like, oh, that's a stud. Yeah. You know, like you can tell how a mature buck acts. If it's a mature buck, you can tell. Those younger ones, they act kind of goofy.
Yeah.
You know, they're running around all over the place, but a mature one, he is like, you can tell that he's running the roost over there.
This is Eastmans. It's getting down to the wire for retired NFL player Derek Wolfe. Let's hope he can make a final play and get to ground check a rutted up whitetail buck.
stud.
Down goes Fraser.
That's a stud. That's a good stud buck. Good work. He did exactly what we wanted him to do. Good work. Nice close shot. Yeah, dropped him.
That's awesome. It's like a 140, 150 buck probably. Probably 140.
I thought you didn't care about tape.
I don't. I'm just giving him a reference. Yeah. You know how big a 140 buck. 140, 150 looks the same to me.
Let's go ground checking, big fella.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's a great buck.
That's an awesome buck.
Hell yeah. Running hard too. Look at them eye guards.
Awesome. Well done.
It's a cool buck.
Good old mature bugger.
Yeah, he's a mature buck, man.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thanks, man. Thank you.
Awesome. That's awesome.
That was so cool.